What up? It's Duke here for the Intimacy Liberation Army, and today we're going to figure out how to plan out your perfect relationship so you can communicate better and get yourself into the relationship that you want. Make dating fun, make dating better. Okay, so throughout the whole month of January, we've been doing this self awareness, dealing with your triggers, dealing with your emotions, dealing with your awareness of what your automated subconscious roadblocks are. And then now at the end of the month, we're trying to get to planning your relationships, figuring out what you want in a partner. Yesterday we did the exercise on ideal partner stuff. Now I want to explain the idea that I think I got this from maybe Chloe Madonis or Tony Robbins, one of those guys, when we were going through the relationship course over at Robbins Madonis training. But it might have been a Gary Smalley thing. I don't remember. But anyway, the idea is that there's you as an individual, there's your partner as an individual, or partners as individuals, and then there's the relationship you guys co-create together. And that relationship has its own, it's like its own entity. It's like its own characteristics and traits, and it has resilience against the world, and it has solutions and vibes, and everything's kind of wrapped up, and it's its own little idea, right? Like, while what the relationship becomes is an amalgamation of what you and your partner build together. It's not you, and you're not it, and it's not your partner, and your partner's not it. The relationship runs on its own, and sometimes it breaks down when you stop putting into it, or when you decide to end it, and then your partner's in the same way. If they start to check out, the relationship begins to break down. Even if you're putting in 100% or you're putting in 200%, it still starts to break down because it requires both of you to feed it energy because it's its own little entity. So we've done all this month, we've done like who you are, what your triggers are, what your emotional responses are like, how to be self-aware of what your goals are and what your dreams and visions and values and core systems of relationship having, your communication strategies. We've dealt with all that shit. And then yesterday we started talking about what do you want your ideal partner to be like, and how can you facilitate filtering that when you're out on dates, or when you're on dating apps texting, or when you're meeting people for the first time and having extended conversations and evaluating whether or not you guys want to continue on towards intimacy. And now, today, I'm going to do a little bit of exercise here. It's going to be shorter than most of the videos because it's just an exercise. There's no like crazy explanation. I just finished it in 3 minutes. So it's going to be, what does your ideal relationship look like? It's not who do you want to be or become, who do you want your partner to be or become, but what do you want to build together as a separate entity that will help carry you guys through the tragedies and turmoils of life, and help experience the beautiful bliss and joyousness of life, right? So go in your journal, you write out this question: what do I want my ideal relationship to be like? I put some examples into the little book that I sold a couple years ago as part of this course. It's called Relationship Goals. Write down your goals for a romantic relationship. This includes desires for things like having kids, traveling, having a partner who encourages your personal development, somebody who doesn't give you a lot of drama, you like their family, they have a strong religious background, whatever it is. Write it down. And this is like kind of the surface level stuff. And some examples of that are shared adventures. If you have a partner that is willing to go on new adventures, explore the world together. I actually travel all the time for my coaching. I do seminars all over the fucking world. We actually have dates coming up in Ibiza and Switzerland, Geneva, and Ayia Napa in the summertime in Cyprus. And I got a whole bunch of U.S. dates too at some point. I haven't put up all the landing pages for it. But I actually travel all the time. And I used to think that I wanted a woman who could travel with me and experience all the stuff. But what I figured out is the women that work best with me are the ones that are stable because I'm so out there in ADHD and doing 50 million things or whatever. If I had a partner who was also out there in chaos and whatever, we don't find a lot of time for each other. And the stable ones enjoy the fact that I'm fun and exciting and adventurous, and they also enjoy the fact that they are solid. And so my current partner, she is stable as fuck. She like barely leaves the house, and she lets me go gallivant all over the world. When I come back, I share my stories, and she kind of lives kind of vicariously in that way. And then sometimes when she gets a little wild hair, then we go out and we have a little adventure, and that's fine. And so I used to think that I wanted a woman who traveled with me, but I don't, because when I'm traveling, I'm working, and uh, it's not a place for a partner when I'm going out and hitting on girls with all the clients and stuff. So I figured out that I don't want a woman to travel with me. And every girl that I've taken off and traveled with, they are weird. Like they are very weird. And so I figured that out. I don't need somebody to do that with. But somebody's also got to tolerate my chaos and my coming up with all these ideas and doing all this entrepreneurial shit and staying up till 3 in the morning shooting YouTube videos in the fucking other room, like that kind of stuff. Like I'm just doing this all the time, and I'm like leaving off on an airplane to go do something else. Like you got to be able to put up with that. If you want a stable homebody type guy, like I'm not your guy. And so I know that, right? I know that the relationship that I'm going to have is going to tolerate those types of energies, right? Another example is personal growth. If you want to find a partner that also likes to communicate, who's into growing and being better next year than they are this year, and they don't just want to settle. There are some people like there's absolutely nothing wrong with settling. By the way, a lot of people in the self-development community, they talk about like settling, such shit, whatever. You're not living up to your potential. But like sometimes you can just be happy. You know, you don't want to settle for things that make you unhappy and bored and lame and not live up to your potential. But if you're happy with what you're doing, you can settle. That's fine. And so sometimes you want a partner that is just chill all the time and they don't really have any aspirations and want to do new shit. And sometimes you want somebody who, or some of you would like somebody who is constantly grinding to the edge and trying to get to the next level, trying to get to the next level. And you want to be fucking dinks and like make shit tons of money and go on lavish vacations together, do all that stuff. If that's what you want, write that shit down, right? Strong communication. If you desire for a relationship built on open, honest, and effective communication. Some of you don't think that exists. It does. There are people who are happy to communicate, work through problems, deal with their trauma, heal, go to therapy, and fucking grow with you in a relationship, as long as you are willing to do the same and not want to take advantage of their vulnerability. So, if that's something that's valuable to you, write that in your ideal relationship thing. Our relationship is going to be a safe place to work out anything we have left over from childhood and push forward into generativity and building things into the future together. If you build your relationship that way, even when one of you falters or makes a mistake, it can carry you into the next level. If you don't build your relationship that way and it becomes kind of a combative place or a place that makes you feel unsafe, then you're always going to be questioning whether or not you're going to stay in the relationship or leave the relationship. So if you're clear on this is what I want it to be like, then you're going to be able to articulate that. You're going to be able to filter for that, and you're going to be able to ultimately get that because that's what you're focused on. Okay? Emotional intimacy. Yeah, some people just want to have kids and then go live lives and build an empire or whatever. Some people want to fuck all the time. Some people want to share every detail of their life with each other. Some people don't. Right? It's if you don't know what you want your relationship to look like, write it out and do the thought. Like the point is not to sit in your journal and be like, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. The point is to, do I want this? And then figure out why. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I actually would like my relationship to be a safe, stable place with a lot of respect and all of this stuff. And I don't want to fight when I go home. because I'm fighting in the world. Some people really like the drama of going back and forth when they get home with their partner because they know they're never going to leave and they can sort of take out all of their excitingness in the drama at home. And that's okay as long as you understand that and you set up the communication uh, structures that support that without, making people feel subjugated, right? So just figure that out. Shared values, joint financial stability. This is a big one. A lot of guys that I coach, they're, because I'm pretty high priced as a dating coach, most of them don't have problems with money. And so they're on various different levels of the scale that are like, okay, well, I don't want just some bitch to use me for my money, and then that's it, whatever my resources. And then some of them are like, yeah, I'm fine to pay for somebody, but like I want them to be worth it, right? I'm fine to marry some girl and give her half my shit if we don't work out, as long as we're shooting for something great. We might as well take the risk, right? So if you're about that as a guy who's a man of means, then figure out what you want in a partner concerning your finances, because it's one of the biggest things that breaks people up is when people run into financial difficulty or financial misunderstandings. They break up. Like that's like I forget the statistic. I think it's a third of the cause of divorces or something. And so if you don't know what you think about, okay, I want my relationship to foster this place for financial wealth, abundance, whatever. If you don't care, then feel free to write that down. Be like, okay, well, money really doesn't play a part in it. I can afford my life. It's fine. Um, and then family building. So yeah, if you want somebody who you can build a family with, it's somebody you want to create children, or you want to go fucking be the best uncle ever, or whatever it is. If you value something, like my partner, she does not give a fuck about family. There's no obligation. She had a lot of trauma in the past, whatever. And when I go see my grandmother, she doesn't come, and she won't, because last time she came 8 years ago, my mother destroyed her, and they just decided that they were not going to be friends, and that's fine, because I don't really give a shit. I don't I don't think to myself, I wish my girlfriend would come to my family functions with me. I don't care. I go to my family functions very sporadically because I have a very, very small family, and because everybody's dead. But uh, some people, that is like a do or die thing. I want my relationship to be integrated with all of these other relationships. Especially like in Saudi or Indian culture, some where my clients are from. Like, if you marry a woman, you are basically signing on the dotted line to take care of her family when they get old, and that's just how the culture is. And so, if you know that, and that's something that you value, then make sure you write that down. Make sure you understand kind of your role in that place and what you're planning on doing behavior wise in order to carry that forward. And yeah, another thing, mutual respect. Yeah. Some people like the drama. Some people like the fight. Some people are at a certain level of consciousness that they don't want somebody at a higher level of consciousness. If you are constantly running around in pride, you're probably going to be doing well with somebody in that same vibration. If you're hanging out with somebody who's just kind of acceptance and everything up here, over 700 on the Hawkins scale, you're probably not going to match well. And like I said, there's nothing necessarily wrong with any of these areas. Those of us in personal development are always trying to push forward to the next level, right? And by the time I'm dead, I hope to be fucking like straight up nirvana, dude, and like not giving a fuck about much, and making real impact and all this stuff. But like where I'm at right now is fine. And so back when I first started pickup back in 2007, I I just wanted to fuck, man. Like I wanted to find the most toxic, tatted, fucking colored hair girls and just have adventures. And I went about it in a way that was ecological um, and I ended up not breaking a lot of hearts and not creating a lot of hate because I was super honest about everything. But yeah, I had some great adventures, and it was fun, and at that point, it was fun for them as well. And over the years, I'd be in a relationship with somebody that was just kind of a situationship, kind of casual. That was before the word situationship existed, but it was just pretty casual, and we would fuck a lot, and we'd go party, and we'd do whatever, and then they would want something more than I was willing to provide. We'd have a clear conversation about it. They get a little upset sometimes, and sometimes they wouldn't, and they go find a new boyfriend, and then our relationship no longer existed because they had replaced me, right? And then I didn't give a fuck because we were casual and everything was cool. Like, it's because I knew where we were. I wasn't trying to future project fucking everything into the future that I didn't care about at that time. And then over the years, I grew up, and I tried to, I got sick of casual sex. I got sick of dealing with the nightclub scene night after night after night, and trying to get new relationships over and over and over again. And then I started communicating more honestly, and got less insecure, and started moving towards secure attachment, and now my goals are different. But I don't judge that part of my life. I'm not like, man, I wish I didn't have to go through all that. Like, that was fun, man. I had a great time. I don't want to do it again. Like, if my partner leaves at some point and I'm single again, then I will go fucking crush it. But like, my goals will be totally different because I grew into a different level, right? But if you are, what was the point I was trying to make? Oh yeah, if you want a fun, crazy relationship, if you want something where you can experience all sorts of weird, new shit all the time, structure your relationship for that. If you want stability, if you want a future plan, you want family and all that stuff in the future, plan your shit for that. But if you don't know, and you're just kind of dabbling around and using all these other people to ping off of and try to figure out who you are, that's okay too. But don't pretend like you know who you are already, because then you start breaking hearts and everybody cries, and they break your car windows and try to steal your cat and all this shit. Um, so yeah, that is the exercise for the day. Plan out the vision of your desired ideal relationship. Go in your journal, say, what do I want a relationship to be like? And do it with the understanding that your relationship is a separate entity from either you or your partners. And realize that if you are to build this thing together, you have to be able to communicate what that is and negotiate what those components are when you meet them and as you begin to move forward in the relationship. And that is my exercise for today. Tomorrow we are talking about, it's in the book, where's non-negotiables in relationships. So this is like the hardcore, like, mental exercises at the end of the month. Most of the theory is out the window now. We are working on actual sitting around and thinking about and architecting what we want so that we can make dating more fun and better. I'm Duke DeLate, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, stay awesome.